Hello, welcome inside the scores table, state championship preview edition, Class A 2A. Brian Haenchen, Danny Riego here with you. Danny, it feels like I literally just did this. We have a great preview show lined up for you guys here as I get my guest list pulled up. We have a lot of people lined up for this show, Danny. We're going to start here with Coach Wes Radtke and Taylor Drone Carly Drone, of Rensselaer Central. This is really great. We're two sets of guests into the show, and I'm already screwing up names, which is really great for me. At
That's
Media Day today, Danny,
that's on brand for us.
It was a mess. It's bad, though. We're also going to have a guest analyst for this one, friend of the show, Addie Bowsman, after the interview is going to help us break down Rensselaer Central. A little bit later, we'll have Matt, Vick, AJ Mallad from Borden, Claire Larison, Mary, that's the other show. We'll have Maddy, Bruce, Craig DeVault from Lafayette Central Catholic, Bren and Kendal Hill, Ella Bobe from South Knox. And, yeah, we got it all lined up. We got it all cooking. Let's go ahead and get to our first guest of the show, Danny.
Let's do it.
All right, and now we are joined by Coach Wes Radtke and Carly Drone. Carly, my apologies.
You're good.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Like I said, a lot of information today, and try to get back into the swing of practice. And so it's been quite a fun and I think exciting day for Carly and the girls that were down there. Taylor, it was a good time.
Carly, how many interviews do you reckon you did today?
Quite a bit. It was kind of about almost the same question, so it wasn't like too much pressure on me.
Did you get any like fun or interesting questions, or was it all like, what do you think of the game? What do you think of the team?
Well, there was a story where Taylor and I both got the same injury, so they had to clear that up because it was Taylor, not me. So that was the only other question besides the games.
I gotcha. So yeah, let's just start, I guess, with the matchup. Have either of you had a chance to look into much with South Knox? And if so, what stands out to you when you watch them on film or look at the numbers?
You know, we've watched film already, obviously, coming off of that win Saturday night, Sunday, late Saturday morning, early Sunday morning, actually. We start looking for film and start doing some research and some digging in as a coach. And again, I'm not going to tell you guys nothing you don't already know. Everybody in the state, they're a great team. They're well coached. They play hard. Got a lot of talent. So it's a good challenge for us. It's something that we're going to have to really look in and prepare for. And it's one of those games where there's no tomorrow, there's no next day, or there's no redo. It's you got to bring your best against the best, and we're looking forward to that challenge.
Coach, how's it going? We've never had the chance to talk about it. I've seen you, and I admire your work. Congratulations on getting there. It's quite an accomplishment, and you guys are a very fun watch on film.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Nice to meet you as well. And I've watched the show many times, and to be sitting here actually and seeing all the interviews you guys have done now is kind of surreal. But again, the credit goes to all my girls. I mean, they absolutely are a phenomenal group to coach. It's not easy playing for me. I'm not easy to please, and these girls have turned it up another level, another notch, and just excited to go along for the ride with them.
Very cool. One of the parts of that ride was Saturday, just on stream. It looked like the Berry Bowl was as good of an environment as there was across the state. I mean, it was incredible from a fan perspective, an environment perspective. Just talk about what that was like. First, from a player perspective, Carly, and then Wes. I mean, look, from one coach to another, you probably didn't notice it, but at times you probably did. But Carly, just talk about the environment on Saturday.
Well, we knew going out there that there was going to be a lot of people there, and it was going to be super loud. So we just had to stay focused and keep that out and play our game. But it was nice having a big crowd for us. Like Bomber Nation shows up and supports us and keeps us and celebrates with us. So it's nice being able to have great fans at all of our games.
Coach, I want to ask you about your daughter. I mean, that's going to be I'm sure you got a lot of questions about it today, but I think I might ask it in a different way. Like, so when I was watching film against Sheridan, she airballs a 3. And I mean, the student section serenaded her. I could probably hear it all the way at Frankfurt. But the very next defensive possession, she draws a charge. In the same game, there's a 50-50 call that ends up being her second foul when it could have been Kenzie Gardner's third foul. You were quite animated with the referees, but in the very next offensive possession after that 50-50 call, it was your daughter that gets an air. So from an next play perspective, I mean, you gotta be. I mean, is it coaching? Is it parenting? Is that just innate on her? In her? Sorry.
Well, I think I can. So again, having 4 daughters and her being the youngest one of the 4, and all 4 of them playing for me, she takes a lot of heat from me, probably more than anybody else on the team. And I've learned in my years of coaching that every kid's going to miss a shot, whether it's my kid or not. Even if it's a coach's kid, as much as time she's been in the gym, they're going to miss shots. And with girls and with her and even with Carly sitting next to me, they miss a shot, they're going to miss a shot. So I can't let them dwell on that. A lot of times in the past, I've watched players dwell on, I just airballed a shot. And now the whole cheer section's yelling airball and saying all kinds of things to me. And it starts to get a little bit under your skin. It's something we've tried to work with and with the girls and with Brody that, the next thing's going to happen. And whether it's taking a charge or whether it's stepping up and hitting the next shot, if you spin it, and you've heard, coaches in college talk about it all the time, and it's so true. If you spend so much time worried about the air ball, you're wasting all that energy where you could be doing something else. And that's the mindset that I try to get Brody to think about is the next play. You airball it. I've airballed shots. You've airballed shots. We've had a lot of mistakes, done a lot of dumb things, and we just got to learn from it and take that energy and not let it eat us up, but put it in a positive way. And it paid off for him.
I'm going to try this next question. Hank, give me a thumbs up if my
Good.
microphone is back now. Okay, good. I want to center in on Courtney Matthew. I was just, as a coach, I was just obsessed with watching her play. I watched both of your basketball games on Saturday. I can't get over it. The kid is in such control of what you guys do, both offensively and defensively. She got control of her body. She's super skilled. I think the audience is in a real surprise with how good she's going to be in that game on Saturday. Talk about her, and then throw it over to Carly so she can talk about how she is as a teammate. But Coach Wes, start us off.
Yeah, a sophomore. That's a great thing. First thing I can say is she's just a sophomore. And Courtney has been somebody in my program since she was little that you could tell there was something different about her. She plays. She's a gym rat. The kid is just always in the gym, always wanting a ball in her hand. Her and I have a spinning on her finger type thing that she does, and she thought she was the only one who could do it. And then when I did it, she kind of got a little more of a challenge to her to do it better than me. She's always looking to make her teammates better. Playing point guard for me is not. Again, I say that a lot of times with the fact of I demand a lot. I demand for her to handle the ball. I demand for her to get her teammates in the right spot and to control the tempo of the game. And then being a defensive guy that I am with that mindset, she just is awesome to have on the top of that defense and to be able to put ball pressure on with her length and her quick hands. Now there's sometimes I got to reel her back in because she gets in foul trouble, does some dumb things, and we try to fix those. But she's got a high motor, and she just loves the game. She hates to lose, loves the game, and she's easy to coach, wants to be coached. That's the other thing about it is she's a sophomore and she wants to be coached. She wants to be challenged at every level of every aspect of the game. And those 2 games you guys watched on Saturday is what she's all about, of trying to get her teammates in the right spots. And then, she can create mismatches for other people because she can get to the rim. She is good with the basketball, and it's been a pleasure to watch her continue to grow in her role this year. And again, the greatest thing for me is she's just a sophomore.
For the perspective of a teammate, she's an amazing basketball player. She keeps us going, and she's like the point guard, so she has a lot of pressure on her. So she always tries to cheer us up, and like if she wants to, she can help us get back into the role of things when we are down. And it's nice having like this group of girls because she's young, and they have Brody and Camry and Taylor, which there's 2 seniors, but Courtney is always hype, and she's always trying to bring us up after we do. If we miss a shot or whatever, she's always there supporting us.
Wes, Carly mentioned, Dana and I too have talked about just some of the older kids that you haven't seen, Carly, Taylor, Camry. Just what's it been like being around this group of girls and getting to coach them?
You know, again, having the 4 daughters that I have, but these girls are also like my daughters. They've been around me for a long time. They've probably seen me do stupid things more than they talked me into doing stupid things, such as different things. But they are fun, and I'm blessed to be their coach. They've always trying to get better, always trying to do the right thing, always trying to make each other better, trying to make their community proud. But the great thing about it is they love each other. In that locker room, I don't have to worry about an energy vampire to trying to suck the energy out of the locker room. These girls enjoy being around each other. Sometimes a little too much, where if it's on the bus ride or whatever, it's like, enough. You got to give me a break. But they are a true blessing, and again, their leadership and these seniors, I've watched them grow, especially over last year. You know, we had a great run last year, came up short, and I watched them pick up the torch and continue to build upon what we did last year and the years past, and just watch them continue to improve each and every day in the weight room, watching film, in the gym, just doing different things that have gotten to where they're at right now.
Carly, for you, just the opportunity to close out your career and time playing with Brooke and Taylor as seniors, just getting to close it out at Cambridge. Just what does that mean to you?
It's honestly, it's really nice be able to play basically since I was a little kid, and finally getting and making it past sectional. Every year we fell short, and last year was really hard for us because we were such a close team with Sarah, Cadence, and Bailey, and it was hard falling short at sectionals. But we just had a drive to get past sectionals and not let our last game be a loss. So we just have the mindset of not losing, and there's that losing isn't an option for us. And so it's really nice having this group of girls go to state together.
One last question before we let you guys go. For you, Carly, what would it mean to bring Rensselaer its first ever state championship?
It would mean a lot, especially since we've tried to do this every single year and we just fell short. Especially for the past and future Lady Bombers, it'd mean a lot to them, and especially our coach, because he's been here for 9 years, and we're making history right now, so it's a big accomplishment, and it's nice.
Awesome. Well, Wes and Carly, thank you guys so much for hopping on with us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a pleasure again. Nice meeting both of you and being able to be on your show, and a lot of respect for what you guys say, and I appreciate you guys giving these young athletes the time they deserve. They put a lot of time in, if not just here at Rensselaer, but everywhere. And I think these athletes deserve that recognition, and I hope they all understand the importance of what you guys do. And looking forward to Saturday. A great experience, and again, looking forward to see what my girls can get accomplished.
Fantastic. Thank you guys so much. And
Good
yeah,
luck,
I'll see
Coach.
you guys Saturday. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wes Radtke, Carly Drone of Rensselaer Central. Dana, we have a guest coming on here, a friend of the show, to help us break down this game. Isn't that exciting?
Let's do it.
Addie Bowsman of Twin Lakes joins us now to talk about
Hey.
Rensselaer. Addie, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
How's post-season treating you?
It's been good. Nice having a break and being able to focus on my rehab right now.
So we brought Addie on because obviously Twin Lakes, Rensselaer, they're close proximity to each other, have had some good battles over the years. So Addie, I'll just start a big, broad question. What stands out to you when you played against and saw Rensselaer even just this season?
Rensselaer's physicality, most definitely. They are a very strong team, and they have depth. They can move the basketball, and they can score from any level on the court.
That physicality, that's something that Sheridan talked about when I talked to them over the weekend too. And Danny, I think you and I talked about it too. What does that look like? Is it just getting up on you when you're bringing the ball up? Is it banging bodies in the paint? Like, what do they do, I guess, to make a game physical and turn it their way?
Definitely their defense is really good. Whenever I was just bringing up the ball, they'd be right up on me. They wouldn't let me get an easy pass to anyone or let me get an easy pass to be able to score. And they crashed the boards like amazingly. They would get offensive boards and defensive boards.
Yeah. I remember like the quote from Sheridan was like, they're hard to see over defensively because they're all so tall and long.
Mhm.
And then you get past one and I guess they're athletic enough. So there's just another one right there and you got to do it all over. I mean, that's got to be disheartening. I mean, for both you guys, like it's got to be kind of a bummer, I guess.
Yes.
It's also married to the scheme, Hank. So they're not just checking you man. I mean, in the 3 Rensselaer Central games that I had watched, it's not the largest sample size. I mean, and I'm new to the Rensselaer bandwagon. Believe me, I'm on the bandwagon. Their 1-2-2 zone is really, really good. So they position Courtney Matthew at the top of it. And the second line of it, I think, is Roland and Van Meter. Van Meter particularly, they just move so well. So that actually tracks what you said, because if you get by Matthew, you have another 5'10" athlete that just has their hands out like this. And so the central third penetration or gap penetration, like you're supposed to do in zones, is you're supposed to penetrate gaps in the zone. Like if you're Kendal Hill on Saturday, Holly, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to go in there in the dark forest with all these trees and deal with that. So immediately, with the way they present it, it's going to create problems for any basketball team that plays them, because you marry that athleticism, that physicality, and that length that Addie and you talked about, but you marry it with Coach Radtke's scheme, and the two go hand in hand with how difficult they are. And I didn't get a chance to ask Coach Radtke, but they don't run a ton of complicated offensive actions. It's 5 out. There's some DHO action. There's some diving action. There's some ball screen action. But other than that, they're going to guard you.
Is that kind of how you saw it too, Eddie, when you guys played against them?
Yes, definitely. Just anytime you started to get around someone, you're like, oh no, there's another one. And I feel like their defense and how fast they are, they're able just to trap you and make you turn over the ball.
So how would you guys address that? Let's look at like last year's team, since they have, a lot of the same faces in that team that you had last year, some of the different scores that you had. It feels like it's kind of comparable to South Knox. So for the purpose of that, I ask, last year, how did you guys approach that? Or even, the year before, wherever you want to take it.
Last year we tried a 2-1-2, like a middle is usually open on a 1-2-2, just trying to flash it. But our girls aren't as strong as Rensselaer's girls, so we weren't able to go against their physicality.
So Van Meter will. So yeah, Addie's right. You want to get middle touches, right? So the first thing you do when you attack a 1-2-2 zone is you need to identify what the one is going to do in the 1-2-2. And what I mean by that is when you throw the ball to the corner, who has strong side block responsibility? Does Courtney Matthew drop all the way down to take the post defender, or do they come from the weak side? That's one big clue, okay? But they keep Matthew at the top. And so they rotate off of the weak side, whether it's Van Meter or Roland or whoever's on that weak side, they'll drop that person. And that's a difficult thing to do, because now in retreat, that person retreats right through the middle of the floor. I think you need to be very careful in wanting to throw the ball into the middle of the floor against Rensselaer Central, because somebody seems to always be in there, and it's not always Matthew. Obviously, when the ball's in the corner, she has middle responsibility, but because Van Meter has now run all the way to the opposite block, there's just so much interference there. I mean, I had to watch it a couple of times before I'm like, I wonder how Holly's going to attack this. And I'm not sure that's a one game watch to be like, oh, okay, they're going to do this. I think it all kind of relates back to that length, Hank.
So Addie, looking at it from a coach's perspective, like if you're coaching this thing up, how do you go about trying to beat them?
You just have to be stronger. You have to match their physicality and just come out there and want to win. And especially, you have to just be able to attack them and be able to pass the ball fast. If you're not passing the ball fast, you're going to be trapped at every corner and not be able to score. But if you're passing fast and you get good shots, then you should be able to compete.
One option might be to beat it up the floor. I mean, that's going to be one. Addie kind of foreshadowed, one of my what to watches, right? I mean, I saw the effectiveness of this zone against Sheridan with Kenzie Garner, who's a clear alpha on that basketball team. And I saw it against Alexandria with Jacqueline Hosier, which is very much the same. The balance of South Knox against the 1-2-2 zone and the speed of their players to be able to get up the floor and play with some pace could be the key. Because I think if you play it in a quarter court possession game, I don't want to say they're going to be in trouble, but I don't think it's easy. I don't think it's very easy to do it. But also note that South Knox playing against Lanesville and kind of similar like congestion kind of zones like that sometimes can be a help too. But my final thing is this, Hank, and I think I would just say this to the screen, hoping that the audience believes me on this. Okay. Is Rensselaer good enough to beat South Knox? The answer to the question is yes. The film and the film and the scout would suggest that they have a perfect team to play against South Knox because they have the ability to guard them at multiple positions within their zone, and they don't have super predictable actions on offense where South Knox can get really comfortable to say, we are going to take Van Meter away. You take Van Meter away, Matthew's going to cook. You take Roland away, it's Radtke's going to make shots. And then here's Drone coming in to block a shot. I think they have the perfect mix. So at the risk of redundancy, while the computers on John Harrell's website might suggest that Rensselaer Central is a resounding underdog, and maybe they are, the thought that they don't have a chance to win this game just isn't true. Rensselaer Central's very, very good.
I want it on record that I said that first.
You did. You were right.
Addie, that's really important, especially on a show, is that you make sure that the other guy knows who had it first. So let's talk about you for the last couple of minutes here. So you mentioned rehab. How's rehab been going?
It's going well. 3 days a week, I'm working on agility and basketball. Then 2 days a week, I'm working on strength. And then the last 2 are my rest days.
That's fantastic. So everything's going on schedule and pushing ahead smoothly?
Yes, I'm starting to be able to run right now. I'm just have a little wobble left, but I'm about to be able to be running almost perfectly soon.
Is that like the biggest relief in the world?
Yes, being able to run, especially how cold it is outside, not being able to run to my car is very unfortunate.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yes.
Addie, thanks so much for helping us out, talk about this. I appreciate it. It's great seeing you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, Addie.
Addie Bowsman of Twin Lakes helping us preview that game. All right, Danny, we're going to move now to Class A, where the Borden Braves are preparing to take on Lafayette Central Catholic in the Class A state championship game. I saved it. We're not going to let this thing derail. Lafayette Central Catholic comes in 25-4. Borden comes in 22-5. We're joined now by Coach Matt Vick, Junior AJ Mallad. How are you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Great. Matt, how was the drive back?
It's it's a long drive, but it's not nearly as long whenever you're fighting for a state championship. So I'll take it.
I love it. I am petitioning them to get like a little like lightning rail system so that we can come down and cover your games a little bit easier. I think that'd be fun. It would make this weekend more convenient. Yeah,
it's especially it's not too bad driving a vehicle like a car, but driving a bus or a mid bus, it takes a while to get from Indy to Borden and back.
Oh man. So AJ, you guys come up here tomorrow for practice, right?
Yes, sir.
So will this be the first time for you inside Gamebridge, or have you been up there before for Pacers and Fever and stuff?
I've been up there a couple of times. A couple of my friends have played in state. We went up there and watched Lanesville last year, but it's my first time actually playing on the court. So.
Okay. Matt, we talked about this earlier in the day, but I think it's really funny, and I just would love for you to share with the audience what you do to motivate the girls during practice, especially when it comes to some of these big games.
Yeah, we probably have about 3 or 4 rivals in our conference and in our sectional, and I'm pretty prone to wearing their school T-shirt during that week, and I think it motivates them, but I think now it's kind of probably grown old, and they just roll their eyes about it and move on. But I like kind of teasing them, especially teams that we've lost to. I always joke with them. I said, if you can't beat them, join them. So that's why I wear their school colors and their school shirts.
That's pretty cool.
AJ, what's it like walking into practice one day and there's Coach wearing the purple school's colors?
Well, the first year it was like none of us expected at all. He just hit us, and we were all kind of in a bad mood about the whole practice. Now it's just we kind of take it as him stabbing us in the back and oh, they beat us last year. Now he just wants to rub it in our face. And whenever he did it for Henry Roll, we were all really mad about that one because over summer, obviously, it was a big deal that they beat us, and then we came back and beat him during the season. And then he showed up with a whole outfit, actually, not just a shirt. He had shoes, shorts, shirt, hat, it all, and he literally wore it for a week straight.
That's amazing. I love
really
that.
is.
Oh my goodness. So AJ, I'll start with you on this. Just what has this run been like for you? Getting to experience this, the team's first, run down to Gamebridge. What's it been like to be part of?
It's been pretty cool. We started off the year pretty slow, and we kind of had to get used to working with each other again because over summer, whereas we used to play in the same AU teams and we're each other year-round, we kind of learned to play different styles of basketball with different people. And so now that we're in the off-season, we're coming together, playing good basketball, sharing the ball. It feels pretty good because we've worked so hard at it the past couple of years. We've came up short to Lanesville, who won state 2 years in a row. So now that we're finally here, all the work's paying off and the pieces are coming together.
So success clause, Matt, puts Lanesville up, and you guys obviously return a huge portion of the team last year. And if you told me that it was all of the production from last year, I guess I would believe you. But the expectation going into the season had to have been a huge weight. I don't want to call it a weight if it wasn't, but maybe just a lot of pressure for the expectation. So now you get to Gamebridge. Just kind of talk about the evolution from last year's loss all the way now, and here you are at state. Have you guys felt a pressure to meet a certain expectation?
Yeah. Ever since Lanesville, moved up in the success factor, we've kind of taken their bullseye now in the 1A division, and I'm pretty proud of our team. I think we've matured a lot this year, and Lanesville's had a great run, especially at the 1A level, and we just couldn't get over the hump until this year. And credit to them, they're a great program, and now that they moved up and the doors open for us, we're happy to try to win another state title in that sectional 63.
And talk about the difference in the team, just almost schematically, if you turn on the semi-state championship game, for example, I mean, it's almost like scripted. You get a high-low, you get a drive and kick three, you get, Rarick gets 2 turnovers, and then they're calling a timeout. It's 11-0, and you feel like you're in a really good position. But, all due respect to last year's Borden outfit, I don't know if you guys just seem cleaner. You just seem more sure of who you are, and maybe that's just a talent thing, Matt. But just talk about the evolution from what I saw last year to the first 5 possessions of the semi-state game.
Yeah, I do think the additions of McKenna Mullen and Taylor Slisher has definitely helped us. It's given us a little bit more depth that we didn't have last year. And it kind of goes back to the maturity. I think, their first 2 years, if they would have got punched in the mouth, they would have folded. They would have, they just wouldn't have been able to fight through it. And I feel like this year they've matured, and, when teams go on a run, or if we struggle with something, we don't take it to heart, and, we just keep fighting and persevering from it. So, I will say this weekend against at the semi-state was probably our best basketball we've played so far this year. To get out on a great start like that, like we did in both games, it was awesome. I mean, it makes it easier to coach, that's for sure.
To contextualize it, 64-26 over South Decatur, 65-41 over Northeast Du Bois. Watching on Twitter, I kind of just stopped paying attention after I saw the first score update. I was like, oh, tip my cap, they got it.
Yeah, if you would have told me we would have started off 17-0 in the first quarter of a semi-state championship game, I probably would have laughed.
Against a talented Jeeps outfit too. I mean, that's not for nothing. That's a really good team you guys took out.
Yeah, they have some talent, and it was our day that day. It seemed like we shot the ball well, we created a lot of turnovers, we played together. I mean, I think I haven't looked at the stats yet, but I would say that's probably our most assists we've had in our 2 games.
AJ, you heard Coach talk about just the mental makeup of this team being different and the response to adversity being different. What does that look like as a player?
It looks a whole lot different than the past 2 years. We all trust each other more, and you can tell on the court. Like, if somebody messes up the past 2 years, you probably would have all turned and blamed each other and gotten mad at one another. But this year, we're picking each other up, and we do the same. Like, we just keep retrying it, and we have so much trust in our teammates to make the play. Like, you'll see us throw the ball into Ava or Emma with 2 people on them and just throw it high and have faith in them to go get it. And then Riley, she's just such good at creating plays for everybody, and she's so unselfish, and that helps us a lot. And then McKenna, she catches everything on the left side. It's almost a guarantee if she's on the left side. Not so much the right side, but we all just work together, and we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we just trust each other enough to let each other make that happen.
AJ, I was talking to Coach Vick about how the team has evolved and progressed, and that starts with the individual pieces, right? We had Ava and Riley on the show. We talked about their evolution and playing with each other. And you're always the third name that comes up. I mean, everybody's always like, yeah, and they got AJ too. Just talk about as those kids have evolved and been more comfortable within your roles, your role has also then had to evolve as well. So just talk about how you personally have just maybe found your place on this basketball team.
My place freshman year that I came out and I thought that I was gonna just be one of the main scorers because in junior high it's kind of how I came out. But obviously everybody gets better and everybody gets taller and stronger and it's older. You're playing against older kids, so you kind of have to learn that you do what you do and everybody else has their own role for a reason and not to overdo it. Like my role for the team is to hit down threes when we need it, play defense and be in help side, and then get passes to our bigs, but like you just can't overdo it. Like sometimes you'll see us in a game and we'll get a little bit riled up and Coach Vick will call timeout and remind us, and then usually remember our role. I think we do a pretty good job at staying within our role, and yeah, I think it just helps with our whole team effort.
And Matt, did this happen did this happen organically, or did you sit down and maybe define roles? Did you change the system based on how these kids were progressing, or just talk about that?
I would say it's probably more organically. These girls have played enough basketball together where they've kind of known their roles, from the get go. And we've changed some stuff here and there, but our little always put a quote on our shirts each year, and we change it up. So this year our shirt was "Do your job," and everybody has their own job to do. AJ's probably our best shooter, and Emma's probably our best rebounder and does the dirty work. Ava's probably our best overall scorer, and Riley's just a playmaker. So I mean, we got different girls that can do different things, and I think that they have embraced their role, and they don't see it as I've got to score 20 points this game. No, it's like one game AJ might have 16 points, and the next game Riley might have 16 points, and someone else the next game. So it's nice to have the weapons that we have, and that any given night somebody can go off for us.
Looking ahead now to LCC, just they seem to be a shorter but super athletic, super kind of quick team. What is that been what's jumping out to you guys, and how do you go about addressing that just generally? AJ, I'll start with you.
I think that we do better with guard teams, honestly, because if you look at us, most of us are built like guards. Yeah, we have some length, but Ava's more of a guard. Her playmaking and her shooting and stuff, she puts her more as a guard. Same for Riley. And Emily's even about the same size of a guard if you really think about it. But they're quicker. They're a lot smaller. They probably have played together just the same amount of time as we are. So I think it'll be good competition and good matchmaking for both of us. They have a couple of lengthy girls. We have a couple of lengthy girls. They have a couple shorter girls. My old AU teammates actually on the team, Maddy, Bruce. We played together last year, and so we know each other pretty well. We play about the same basketball, so I think it'll be fun.
Matt?
Yeah, just watching a few tapes already this week. They're really athletic. They like to run. They like to shoot the three. They're just a well-coached team. I mean, they've had a lot of success in the last 15 years. Some schools would kill for their success. 3 state championship or 2 state championships, 1 runner-up, and then they're playing for one this Saturday. So I actually got to meet their coach today in our meeting, and they're just well coached and have a great program. And if we can just guard and again, I think that's our best thing is our defense. If we can just guard them and use our length to alter their shots and just take care of the basketball, it gives ourselves a chance to win the game.
AJ, for you, how long has the dream been to win a state championship and for Borden? And now that it's almost here and you're going to have that opportunity, I guess, just what would it mean for you to get the job done here and to bring one home?
It would mean so much because I moved here in 7th grade and obviously we had visions of it. We talked about it with us 5 all being in the same grade and playing 5-7 years basketball together in AU every season almost. And growing up, it was just like a thought in our brain and like a goal. But now that we're actually here, it's going to feel so good. It's going to be life-changing. It's like not everybody gets this opportunity. So I'm trying to soak it all in.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, AJ and Matt, thank you guys so much for joining us. Best of luck to you on Saturday. Looking forward to covering you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck, Coach.
Take
Thanks.
care. AJ, Mallad, Matt, Vick joining us here on the scores table. Danny, I should mention that at the IndyStar, we're going to be doing some just basically fun around Borden for the day. We're going to be covering them pretty heavy.
Cool.
Grace Smith and I. Yes, that'll be fun. We're going to kind of go from the start of the day through whatever happens during the game, then after the game. So we'll have some cool behind-the-scenes stuff. I'm talking with them, too. They're going to send some visuals from down in Borden. I know the town's going crazy for it. So really excited to do that. I love small-town basketball, and Borden basketball is really special. So very excited to cover a state championship game from such a different angle and kind of be able to zero in on one team because we have the Lafayette paper will cover Rensselaer Central LCC, and then Soaks obviously got South Knox, so I get to hang out with Borden for the day, and I'm super pumped. It's gonna be a fun thing.
You gonna drive down there and ride the bus back?
I wish. I wish.
You just talking about how that was the thing.
If I didn't have to cover the 4A game at night, I'd be all for it. But we'll pick them up at the hotel. Not literally pick them up. We'll pick up the story at the hotel a little bit, or Grace will, and follow them. So I'm really excited for that. Let's just get your opening thoughts on this game. I mean, this is a fascinating, contrasting style. Like we came from just talking about Ellen Warsaw, where they're mirror images. Personnel-wise, this feels a little bit different, at least in terms of top-of-line standouts, in terms of height and size and all that.
Yeah, so I think my first thought is Borden has had this expectation kind of throughout the year. And I think the first thing, and the reason why I led with the question about pressure is because, when you talk to people down there, they had talked about how very openly, how the expectation for this year and also next year is state championships. I think they have every intention of grabbing the first of 2 on Saturday. So that's the first kind of broad storyline. But to take it onto the floor, Coach Vick mentioned in his last line, and I'm very happy that he did, about how defensive-minded they are. So the first question that everybody's going to ask is, what are they defensively, okay? And I don't know what Matt's going to run. I don't know what Borden's going to run. I don't know how that will necessarily play out. But in the semi-state championship game, they checked a man, and they said, come and get us. And they were in a stance. I think at the lower levels, and I say lower being less A's, okay, but at the Class A and 2A level, you don't see a ton of man basketball teams. I think it's more en vogue to play zone. And I think one of the reasons why is because they may not have 5 players that can play man. Borden in one of those outfits, they will guard you. And sure, it's headlined by Rarick, who's probably their best on-ball defender. Ava Wheeler has turned herself into a really good defender. And those 2 kids particularly, like there's some action in the Jeeps offense where they set a side ball screen, and they went under it and kind of hedged out with the last screener. And then they shot an over-the-top 3 that's probably been there all year on that same action, and Wheeler blocked it. Like, they just have kids that can get in a stance without doing anything super creative and guard you. So I think the first thing that I would tell you, the what to watch from the Borden side of things, is they are going to do it against some really good offensive basketball players like Brooke Thompson, the freshman, like Harley Barrett, like Grace Borden, Maddie Bruce, AJ Mallad mentioned. And I think it's going to be this really unique kind of Class A, like man on man. And these 4 kids are going to be in a ball screen action, and you're going to see who wins that. And I think that's super fascinating. It's not something that we've always seen at the Class A level, but Borden and man-to-man in their half court is really, really something to see.
We joked about Matt wearing Lanesville gear to practice, so I want to play a Lanesville clip. We had Angie Hinton on, head coach at Lanesville, to talk about Borden, to talk about South Knox, and I wanted to play a clip from her just talking about the differences that she noticed with this year's Borden team compared to last year. I thought that was some really interesting insight.
A little more depth this year than they had in the past. Before you had those three, and then you had Hart, who's a very, very solid player who could rebound and do a lot of good things for you. But that fifth position was not as strong as it is this year. They got McKenna Mullen back playing again, and that position, I mean, she's as good as having Hart in there and having Mallad in there. She does a lot of good things for them. She's a very solid player. Also has a pretty good basketball IQ. And then they got another freshman, or a freshman, Sailor Syker, I think I say that right. She comes off the bench, and she's a good freshman. So now they've got 6 really solid kids out there on the court. So again, you got to match them at every position. Wheeler's improved her game a lot. She's taking it to the basket. She's 6'1". She can handle the ball. She can go outside and shoot. So, that's a tough matchup. You got Rarick, who's a 6'6" guard, and she really facilitates everything for that team. And then when she needs to score, she will, but she's always looking mostly to set the other kids up. Mallad is a very physical guard, and if she gets hot shooting, that makes them very good. And she's solid on defense. Hart gives them that inside presence that she can score. I don't think they use her as much as they could, or that maybe they don't need to as much, but she's always there for weak side boards and, got baskets there.
Danny, you alluded to it in the interview, and Angie talked about there just how different this Borden team is. And she approached it from the personnel standpoint. Matt approached it from the mental standpoint. And you mentioned it too, from a little bit of both. And just, man, it's a really, really good Class A basketball team.
The first dead ball possession that they had in the semi-state championship game, they ran a ball reversal high-low from Wheeler into Hart. And they got a wide open left-handed layup, or not a wide open left-handed, maybe it required a post move. But that tells me, okay, if that's the first dead ball script, that tells me that Matt, Vick, and Borden value her presence inside. That is a dedicated effort to establish that inside presence. Everybody knows that Wheeler is going to attack off the bounce. Everybody knows that Rarick wants to get in the open floor and run, and it's on the teammates to get ahead of them. Everybody knows that AJ is going to space the floor and try to hold help. And if you make a mistake like helping off of her, and we can kick for 3. But I think the first possession of the semi-state championship game was super telling, because I think they're going to do the same thing against Lafayette Central Catholic. I think they're going to lean very heavily on those 3 kids, but that is an easier task to do when you've established paint presence, because you're going to try to get paint presence off the bounce, right? Mm-hmm. But if you can throw it into the paint, that's an easier way to get there. And so I compliment Matt for how he kind of scripted the beginning of that basketball game in the semi-state championship. I think one thing to watch from the Borden perspective is, what do the first 3 or 4 possessions look like for Borden against Lafayette Central Catholic? And I wouldn't be surprised if you see, I'm not saying touches, but at least strong posts with the effort to get a touchdown there.
This is the first time in a while where I think, maybe I'm wrong 3 years ago, but first time in a while where I'm expecting a really tight game. Like last year, Marquette Catholic kind of was like a feel-good story against Goliath. I want to say it was the same way when Lanesville won it the first year, and then everything beyond that is just kind of blank space to me. But this feels like a really competitive matchup. I mean, on paper, just analyzing it now that I have the stats in front of me as I was breaking down the game today for players to watch, I mean, it's just, they feel so tightly matched, and I'm curious what the one little edge, what the one little difference will be to decide it.
So I think it's going to be taking care of the ball. I think it's going to be taking care of the ball, because I do think when you have let's take it to the other side, and I'll stay on the board side mostly. But I just want to touch on it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, Craig's going to have a unique defensive game plan in. And when I say unique, I don't think it's going to be necessarily something that they've never done before this year, but he's got a different option. You just look at kind of what they did against Marquette Catholic. Okay, so having said that, I think the live ball change of possession, the live ball turnover, and Borden particularly is super effective. I talked about the high-low that they ran early in script, but they stretched the lead out because Riley Rarick got a steal, and then Riley Rarick jumped the lane. When she jumped the lane, she got on a 2-on-1 break, and that was a very easy pass for her because she's 6 feet tall, but she plays like she's 6'2" or 3. She's got super long arms. We've mentioned this several times on the podcast that Riley Rarick's best sport is actually track and field. Like she's got a chance to win a state championship in the high jump. So her athleticism, particularly in the open floor and transition, is a weapon. And I think that they can weaponize Riley Rarick if they're able to turn Lafayette Central Catholic over, because it's going to make her more effective on the offensive end. It's not scoring the ball. I mean, she sets her teammates up very, very well. Angie even said it. She's just like, and you got the Rarick kid, and you can hear her in that Lanesville voice. You got the Rarick kid. It just sets people up. Like you just watch one game and you're like, oh my God, well, that kid got that look because Riley Rarick made the steal. She handled the ball. All the kid had to do was get in front of her in the lane, and Riley Rarick delivers a pass and they make a layup. So I think it's going to be the ability for Borden to turn Lafayette Central Catholic over will go a long ways toward if it is in fact Borden in the blue rings. I think their ability to get transition points, I think, is going to be important.
It's going to be a really fun game to watch. I'm looking forward to that one. We're going to be joined here soon with Coach Craig and Maddy Bruce from Lafayette Central Catholic to preview their side of the game. All right, Danny, we're going to move to the other side of the Class A matchup now. Lafayette Central Catholic, 25-4, taking on Borden, 22-5. We're joined now by Coach Craig DeVault, Senior Maddy Bruce. Guys, how you doing?
Doing good.
I'm good.
So let's just start broad. Maddy, how's the first couple days of state championship prep going?
It's been good. We've just been locked in, preparing.
Craig, we talked a little bit before the show just about this, how they bought in over the summer. Just talk to Danny and I guess, just about what you've seen from this group and what's elevated them and distinguished them this year.
I mean, first of all, our senior leadership has been big with our younger girls. I mean, I'm starting a junior and a freshman also with 3 seniors. So our senior leadership's been great. I think it all started in June in the summer, where we had a really good June, and our girls knew where we wanted to be at the end of the season. And they took a lot of pride. I mean, we're a defensive team. I tell them defense wins a lot of girls' basketball games, and they took the defense to heart, and that's all we want to do. Every practice we're playing some type of defense.
Maddy, has it been easy for you, the other seniors, the other players, to kind of buy into that defense first mentality?
Honestly, yeah, because I feel like Casey's always known that defense is like what we're about, and then Brooke knew coming in that that's what it was about, and she's really stepped up and improved on that side of the game.
Well, Coach, the identity of defense has to come from you. I just wanted to compliment you in front of our audience about your defensive game plan in the last basketball game against Marquette Catholic. It certainly caught me by surprise, and I know Katie will probably downplay it, but just talk about the box and one. But it wasn't a box and one on Lanaya Davis. It was a box and one on Marissa Pleasant. So share what you want to share in regards to your defense, and you can take it broad and just say, hey, we're going to do whatever we need to do and scout specificity. But that was unique, man. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I mean, a couple of my assistant coaches, we were talking, and we knew that Davis was a heck of a ball player, that we had to keep her out of the paint. And if we went to a box and one, we wanted to put the box and one on Pleasant, because coming in postseason, she hit 12 out of 22 3-pointers. So we just felt like if we put someone on her where she couldn't get open, easy looks, that would help us out. And then I'd have 4 people in the paint to stop Davis. I mean, granted, she got to the paint a couple times and scored on us, but other than that, I thought our defense was excellent. I mean, I usually don't play a lot of zone. I'm not a zone guy. I'm a man-to-man guy. But, I mean, the girls took it to heart, and I just don't know what we're going to do yet against Borden. I know they're big, so, I mean, there'll be times I might run some zone. I don't know yet. I mean, I got 3 days to think about my game plan, defensive game strategy. So But our girls will execute the game plan they have all year for us. So really excited to put another game plan in for them.
And Maddy, Bruce, it was you that drew the assignment and the lucky draw in getting Marissa Pleasant in the box and one. So you walk into practice, he implements this defensive game plan, and you're the one that gets to chase Marissa Pleasant around. Your thoughts when that happens?
I feel like I've always been given certain little like defensive assignments, whether it's been a post player, a shooter, or just sitting on someone's left or right hand. So I wasn't really surprised. I was kind of like expecting that we were going to have some sort of defensive assignment for someone, but it ended up being me. So,
Maddy, is that usually the challenge for you when you got it? Are you usually the one guarding the other team's top player?
it's either me or Grace Borden. If they're a shooter, I feel like it's usually me. If it's a quick little guard, it'll be Grace.
Craig, that's got to be a great luxury to have when you have two kids capable of defending at such a high level. You can just kind of use them interchangeably and base around matchups.
Exactly. Obviously, Maddy's a little longer, so she can get out on the shooters. Gracie's just quick. And then also I got Casey Schussler, too, who's been a lockdown defender for us, too. So actually I have three girls I can put on anybody, and I'm happy with.
Let's talk about Casey Schussler and just what she brings to the table for you guys. Because obviously, Grace Borden, Carly Barrett get a lot of attention. But, you've got a really deep lineup that can score and defend and do a lot of different things.
Yeah, a lot of teams we're just hard to guard. I got 5 girls out there that could put up 15 to 18 points at any time, and like a lot of people, they concentrate on Carly and Gracie, so that leaves Casey wide open. And this year, she's shooting a 3 really well. She's scoring. I bet she's had 4 or 5 games where she's had 15 to 18 points. So they can't. A lot of people just don't count on her to score, and she stepped up this year for us.
Speaking of Borden, for both of you guys, obviously their length and their height is going to be one of the major factors in this matchup. Maddy, we'll start with you. Just how do you go about attacking that, defending that, and just that component of the matchup?
I think Ava Wheeler is going to be like a tough match for us, but we're going to have to figure out a way to keep her from attacking. And then they have their other 2 guards that are good. So I think the coaches will come up with something that'll be pretty good.
Craig, speaking generally, how do you game plan for taller teams? How do you attack that?
For one, we have to work on rebounding. That's the biggest thing. We start 5 guards. Brooke's our tallest person, 5'10". So rebounding is going to be probably one of the biggest keys in the game Saturday. So, we'll do some – I don't do a whole lot of rebounding drills, but when we do our transition, I make sure that we have to block out.
The freshman, Brooke Thompson, you guys are an old team, but the freshman's been playing a huge role for you guys, averaging around 10 a game. Just tell me about that kid and what she's doing to step up like this.
Really, I knew coming in this year that she was going to probably be one of our best shooters at the 3-point line. And as a freshman, against Marquette Catholic, she hit a 3 in the end of the 4th quarter that put us up 1 or 2, and then overtime she hit another big 3. That's a freshman you're asking to knock some big shots down to get us to the state game. So I've been really impressed with her. I knew it was slow coming out defensively because she's a freshman. Junior high, she didn't have to play defense because she just was taller than everyone. And by the end of the year, her defense has really picked up and her rebounding has really been picking up.
Maddy, as a senior, how do you foster a freshman's growth and make sure that she's comfortable getting into the program and settled into the lineup and ready to step up in those big moments?
Well, Brooke and I are in practice. Brooke and I are like partners for everything. She's like, me and her do everything together. So I feel like just being encouraging, and she's really learned to take criticism well. And like, she's confident. Like if she doesn't look like she is, she definitely is.
That's awesome. So from a player's perspective, the schedule that you guys get put through, I think I talked to a couple of your teammates last week about this too, but just for you going through the rigors of playing teams like McCutcheon, all those powerhouses that you guys have in the Lafayette area, what does that look like from your perspective, and just how valuable is that come this time of year?
This on me or Maddy?
Oh, Maddy. I'm sorry. Maddy, what is
sorry.
it? Yeah.
Well, playing McCutcheon early in the season and then playing them again like literally 2 weeks later was it was a tough loss for us because obviously we wanted to win, but we just kind of viewed those games, and playing Rensselaer in the Hoosier Conference was a tough one too. But we just view those games as like those games are preparation for our final goal, which is state.
Do you pull, as you guys get deeper into the tournament, do you pull specific things from those matchups? Like, hey, here's this team similar to, I don't know, whatever, Monroe Central or something like that, and say, here's something we can do, and pull it like that way? Is it that direct, the experience?
It's not that direct, but we definitely can learn and like use what we used or what we did in those losses. We can reflect and use them in our wins now.
Craig, with this group, how have they responded to, suffering some setbacks over the course of the season? How do they take those losses?
Real good. I mean, I know like when we got beat by McCutcheon twice and Rensselaer, our girls were upset, but we move on. We figure out our mistakes we made in the game. Like if we had 15, 20 turnovers, we work on ball handling and passing drills. I mean, we just try to get better from our mistakes that cost us a couple games. But other than that, I mean, we just one game at a time. That's how we look at it. After we play one game, we move on to the next opponent.
Craig, when we had Grace Borden and Carly Barrett on, we talked about the Lafayette Central Catholic tradition. And Grace gave a great answer about how when we walk into the gym, there's banners and there's pictures, and that's a constant reminder. That's a lot of your things that you put on the wall up there. Do you have to remind them of that? Is that something that's just understood and tacitly understood when you step into that gym, that the expectation is a little bit different at Lafayette Central Catholic?
I mean, I think they understand like where I come from. Like I'm a defensive-minded coach, and when we do our defensive days, I'm an old school kind of coach where back in the day when I played, we did pitter-patters, quarter turns, all those things, and I know the girls don't like it, but I have them face the wall where all the state pictures are. And they say, why do we always face this way? It's like, because this is what's going to get us on this wall is our defense. And ever since then, when we do defense, they always line up. So we're facing the pictures, and we always look at them right when we're doing our pitter patters.
Great answer. A little bit of levity with this one, and then I'll throw it back to Hank so he can get you out. But what's the story behind the Ric Flair with your assistant? I gotta know.
Honestly, I don't know how that came about. Just one day after a game, I think we started doing that. Actually, it was with Drake Barrett, the boys coach. We started when he was on my staff, and then it just carried over. And I mean, we have a cutout of Ric Flair, a full-size cutout of Ric Flair, and it has my picture on his face. And we bring that in the locker room during postseason, and the girls get a kick out of it. But it's just tradition we do after every game, every win. So, and the girls like it, and then we give away a chain for the best player that had a good game.
One last one for me, and Maddy, for you, just what would it mean to add another state championship to this program story tradition for you?
I mean, it would mean a lot to me and my other seniors because my freshman year was when we went there and we lost, and kind of leading by example. And I feel like we can set a good example for the underclassmen that'll be coming in.
Fantastic. Well, Maddy and Craig, thank you guys so much for joining us, and best of luck to you all on Saturday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You.
Take care. Maddy Bruce, Craig DeVault of Lafayette Central Catholic with us here on the scores table. Danny, I'll let you kick off the interview wrap.
So I've got two things.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were actually mentioned by Craig in the interview. My first big what to watch, and Carly Barrett said it when we interviewed her in the semi-state preview show, and Maddy actually said it again in this interview. At any combination of their lineup has 5 guards essentially that can dribble, pass, shoot, defend, and do it with IQ, and do it under a system and a scout and follow the scout. So the big what to watch is going to be that is a system generally that is, you don't necessarily know what the matchup is going to be or what you're going to do necessarily on the offensive end, also on the defensive end. But when you have such balance like that, I don't want this comment to suggest as if Borden doesn't have balance, because they certainly have more, but they also have Riley Rarick and Ava Wheeler and AJ Mallad. And Maddy even said, we got to keep Wheeler out of the paint, and their other two guards are good. Like, she was talking about how they have kind of feature pieces. That's contrasting personnel. And so that's the big first what to watch is a lot of times, you said it yesterday when breaking down Warsaw and Lawrence North, that the two are kind of mirror images of each other. These two teams are not. So sometimes when you have different styles like that, one team might look at it and it play out as that's a bad matchup. Now, we don't necessarily know which team that is yet, but the balance of Lafayette Central Catholic is something to marvel at and something to watch. The second one, and he alluded to it, and I promise I'm not just judging from the interview. I have it written down right here. What defense are they going to play? Like, are they going to press them? I saw them press Monroe Central. I saw them play the box and one against Marquette Catholic when Lanaya Davis was out of the game. I saw them in different zones. I saw them in face guard man. Craig strikes me as a little bit of a scientist with the way that he coaches basketball. I mean that in the most complimentary way. But he said that he doesn't know what he's going to run. And the reason why he doesn't know what he's going to run is because he's probably run 14 or 15 different things with scout specificity coming into games. He doesn't know necessarily what's going to work. He's probably got an idea. He's probably down to 2 or 3. He will probably run them both. He was probably being a little bit coy with that. But that's not for us on the Scores Table podcast to uncover. I, for one, am going to be very curious as to what defense they are going to play. So the big what to watch in the very first possession down the floor for Borden is going to be what defense are they in? And I think the most interested person is going to be Matt Vick, head coach of Borden, because he doesn't know what to prepare for.
The rebounding, too, and just the ability to crash the boards and the aggressiveness inside is going to be really big for Lafayette Central Catholic, too, because, I mean, Borden has some really tall, really talented athletes down there. You mentioned the big names, too. McKenna Mullen, they're 5'7" forward. I mean, she's putting up 10 a game. They got Wheeler, obviously. It's 7 boards a game. Like, they have a lot of different pieces there. Emma Hart, a 5'10" junior forward. I mean, there's a lot of length on that team, man, and they're long. And I saw them at earlier in the year, and they come at you in waves a little bit, especially on the glass. So I'm interested to see how Lafayette Central Catholic addresses that. But on the other side, I mean, they are so athletic, LCC is, and their ability to run that fast tempo and get going a little bit, get up into teams and pressure them. I'm really curious to see how Borden responds to that.
Hank, did you ask the question about Brooke Thompson is because you have this underlying feeling that she's the X factor? I mean, I don't think you were asking it just because you wanted to mention her name. Like, did that come from a place of like, this kid, 5'10", freshman, the expectations might not be there, but she hit a big corner 3 against Marquette Catholic. She was really, really good against Monroe Central in past rounds in the postseason. Did you ask that question because you have a feeling about her?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, because it's like some of these other games we talked about where it's like, and going last week too, I think with like Warsaw and IHSAA, I think it was, we were talking about, like the stars. In this case, it'd be Borden, Carly Barrett. Those are going to be the 2 names that everybody's focused on. And they're going to be same thing, Riley Rarick, Ava Wheeler on the other side. So it's a question of which kid is going to have her moment. And Barrett, the freshman, kind of feels like that one because you probably go down a little bit further because you got to go through another leading scorer in Schussler to get there. Like there's so many different pieces before you get there. But a freshman in that moment, and I think too, just being a freshman, they kind of get overlooked a little bit in those moments just because they're young and they've never really been there before, obviously. And it feels like it. It feels like she could be the one to click, and if they're to knock off Borden, I think it's going to require probably a big game from her.
And she's really talented. I mean, in other words, that's not an unrealistic thing. If you look up and Carly Barrett with how great she is, it wouldn't shock the Indiana girls basketball world if Brooke Thompson had like a game high 18 or something like that.
This could be that coming out party where she becomes a household name. Like I think Lanaya Davis kind of falls into that category last year. Marissa Pleasant, who we talked about earlier too from Marquette Catholic, kind of falls into that category. Hadley Crozier over the past couple of years from Lanesville falls into that. So it sets up for her pretty nicely where this freshman can really start to make a name for herself and insert her into that, into that household name conversation early on.
One more point. So when you're putting together scout, I mean, we've asked the question like, hey, you played them in the summer, or what teams did you play that played a 1-3-1? And there's certain things that we have discussed. Did everybody catch it when Craig said that Marissa Pleasant was shooting 56% from three? He gave the actual numbers, but in the postseason. In other words, if you were to look at a stat sheet or go to Max Preps, I don't know if either of those teams have their stats up on Max Preps, but if you were to decide what your defensive game plan is based on a large sample size, that can sometimes be a little bit misleading. He seems to ride trends. And I think maybe one of the reasons why he hasn't decided is because maybe he's not totally complete with his Borden evaluation yet, because he wants to see what, for example, Riley Rarick has done from the 3-point line in the last 10 games versus the entire season, or what AJ Mallad is doing, or how many touches they're getting in the paint, things like that. I just think that when you talk to coaches that develop good scouts or specific things for games, it's not a body of work. Sometimes it's identifying trends. And so it's really nice to hear, you kind of see I called him a scientist. It's nice to see the wheel turning as he said that.
And when he said that jogged my memory, because I remember when we talked to Calignan before going into that semi-state series, she mentioned that Marissa started a little bobby, but she was really starting to heat up from three. And then you pair that with what Grace Openker was saying and what you picked up on with the box and one setup and deciding to take away Pleasant and allowing them to pack the lane then against Lanai Davis and preventing her to get to the basket. It all fits together now, Danny, is what I'm trying to say. I'm struggling. I'm at the point now where I'm struggling to form complete sentences. This is a great show. We're going to be joined here next, Danny. We're going to go up to Class 2A and talk with South Knox. Ella Bobe, Bren Hill, and Kendal Hill will be with us. All right, Danny, you're ready, and we're joined now by Ella Bobe and Bren and Kendal Hill from South Knox. South Knox, of course, is getting ready to play Rensselaer Central, 26-2. South Knox comes in 27-2. Girls, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, we're good.
Doing well. How's Ella? How's state championship week prep going for you?
It's going really well. Everyone's really locked in, and we're super excited for this Saturday.
So let's start with the matchup with Rensselaer Central. The thing that obviously a lot of people are focused on, at least in my corner, is just the length that they bring and some of the challenges that presents. Just speaking generally, how do you go about attacking some of those longer teams, and what's the best ways that you guys have found to go against that stuff? Ella, why don't you start?
Okay. Go ahead. No, she's good.
I think that we just try to focus on what our coach tells us to do and really lock into the scout, because she always prepares us really well. And, I just think we play really well together. So just sticking together, because we know it's going to be a game of runs, but just staying together.
Bren and Kendal, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it too.
I think we can use a lot of our quickness with our shorter guards, Kendal, Grace, Ella. They're all really fast. So I think we can use that to our advantage.
I agree. I feel like we're faster than them, but we gotta use our pass fakes and not try to throw it in their hands as much as we like to do. But yeah.
So it's funny that you guys are in the same box, Bren and Kendal. I saw something on social media that's like a hashtag Brendel thing. It's obviously very clever, you guys being sisters, and that's a fun thing to watch. But so is this gear, this Brendel gear, is this like available to the general public, or and how did this nickname come about?
Yeah, we used to really be into WWE when we were little, so we created like a tag team name, Brendel, and it just stuck. And Mom created a shirt for us, so we just got it from our like local shirt making company, and they just created it Brendel.
Very, very cool. Very cool. I have a question for all of you. The schedule, okay? The schedule has been very good. It's obviously you have the Hall of Fame and being able to play really good teams like Southeastern and Homestead. That obviously helps. But even if you remove the Hall of Fame, there are more than a half dozen teams that, won 20 games, won sectionals, won regionals. I mean, even advanced all the way to third and fourth weekend. So how has that prepared you for this deep postseason run? Go ahead, Ella.
No. Our coach did a really good job of beefing up our schedule. Last year, towards the end of the season, we didn't play a bunch of super aggressive teams, and I don't think that helped us for the postseason. But this year, with the challenges, I think we've grown a lot and we've learned a lot about ourselves. And also playing in those close games helps us to have that experience for playing those really good teams in the postseason.
Yeah, I agree. Our Brownstown Central game was really close, but I think that really gave us the confidence going into sectionals that we could beat a lot of good teams.
I agree.
Who's the Bren? Just stick with you. Who's the best team you played? Is it Southeastern?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say one of the teams in the Hall of Fame, the Hamilton Southeastern.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is that who you were going to go with too, Kendal?
Yes, definitely. Maya McCluskey is very good for a reason. That's why she's going to IU. She pretty much killed us, but their whole team is really good.
For all three of you guys, the Evansville Central game at the end of the year where you have to come back, fight back, and you grind out that 57-55 win, I guess just what did that do for the team just in terms of confidence and just kind of getting you into that postseason mindset going into state?
I think it kind of showed our character because we knew we were going to do whatever we could to win. And then being in that tight position, we showed that we can handle that pressure. And so it was really good for us.
Yeah, I agree. I think we noticed that North Knox wasn't as good as that team. So we just really pushed through when we played them in sectionals, and then it was up from there. So.
Yeah, and coming down from like 9 points, I think we were down, and battling all the way back up to win. Really built us up as a team.
You guys are unique in that the expectation, I think, from day one has been to get to this point of the season. What kind of pressure does that create? Does it create pressure? And just how do you guys handle and address that as players?
I don't think we try to think about the pressure, we're just trying to keep winning games because last year we obviously didn't go very far, but this year we've been playing really well together and we've been reading each other a lot better and just trying to focus on the little things, and that takes away a lot of the pressure for us.
I think our community helps a lot. Sorry.
No.
I think our community helps a lot with the pressure because they're all backing us up also, so.
Yeah, and I don't think it's nerves or pressure or anything. I'm really excited. I think everybody's excited to play already.
You mentioned the community. Am I expecting that this is going to be the time if you wanted to commit a crime in Knox County? You guys are going to bring 3,000 people there, aren't you?
Yeah, I think our seats are already sold out. Our section.
Yeah, it sold out in 20 minutes is what we heard.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Rensselaer Central travels well too. South Knox is going to travel. You guys both probably sold out your sections. You girls are going to be in for a real treat. Everyone talks about sometimes how cavernous Gainbridge can be, but I think there's going to be a lot of people there. That's really great. I will certainly be one of them. I do have a question back to the basketball court though. One of the things that we have taken as a theme throughout the year is how it just seems to be different people, different nights for South Knox. Ella, certainly you are somebody who, when you read a news, like a news report or something, you might have a game high, but I've talked about how Kendal, you played so well at the Hall of Fame. You've had I think 2 or 3 triple doubles. Bren, you've paced them and had game highs and team highs throughout. I referenced really early in the season, Grace Detweiler had a basketball game against Washington where she hit 5 threes. Talk about the depth of the team. Talk about the chemistry of the team. Talk about how you guys are probably okay with who it's different people. But let's go the other way here. Kendal, start us off with how you feel the balance of the team is unique at South Knox.
I think it's really unique. Anybody can step up and hit a shot. We practice shooting all the time, every day. Everybody's always in the gym. Calissa Lavely stepped up tremendously in semi-state, and so did Ellie Burke. And Grace Detweiler always plays good defense. She guarded Riley Johnson, and she did a phenomenal job on her. And I think all of us just sticking together, and we're all such great friends, it just really helps.
Yeah, I agree with that. We're such a close-knit group. I'm not really scared when anybody catches the ball. I know they're going to make the right decision or just shoot it and hopefully make it. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think this year our team chemistry has just like shown, we really love playing with each other. And it also helps whenever all 5 people on the court are a threat because it opens up different opportunities for people. And we'll do whatever we can to win no matter who's scoring that night.
Bren and Kendal, I'll turn open the floor for you guys. Just tell us about Ella and what she's like as a teammate and what makes her so special, I guess, as the leader of this group.
Well, she's like one of my best friends. We hang out all the time. So she's an amazing person. Her work ethic is crazy good. She's always in the gym. Anytime we want to get shots up, she's always in there also. So I love playing with her. She shares the ball well, and I can always count on her to make a good decision.
I agree. She always is over here with Bren, so she's kind of like my best friend too, in a way. So, and we played together for a really long time. She can shoot the ball really well, obviously, and then she can take it down in the post. She's just amazing. She shares the ball so well. It's just so fun playing with her.
Ella, this season in particular, I guess, just how have you evolved your game? Like, what are you most proud of, I guess, in terms of your development as a senior?
I think I've tried to focus a little bit more on posting up this year, just because I want to be able to score in different ways depending on the defender that's guarding me. But also just trying to be a good teammate and a leader because I know this group is going to do so well with or without if I do or don't score. And so trying to lead in other ways, like on the defensive end and talking and just doing whatever I can to help my team win that night.
And I'll ask you the same question about the Hill sisters, just having those two as teammates. I know the practices, they're entertaining, I suppose is the word.
Yeah, sometimes they get in fights. It's fine. We love them. But no, this season has just been great with these two. They have such good chemistry. I mean, obviously because they're sisters, but they play so well together and they reach each other well. Bren stepped up huge for us. She's taken her scoring to the next level, and she's such a huge threat for us. And it's a huge part of our success this year. She rebounds, she plays defense, and she blocks shots crazy. I don't even know how she does it, but she's just really good. And then you have Kendal, who, I mean, she's just amazing too. And only for a sophomore to do the things that she's doing. She reads the floor so well. I think she's like one of the top people in the state for assists right now. So it's just crazy to think about that. But also she can hit a shot. She's handled the ball really well for us, and she's been rebounding. They're all just great. And plus, Kendal played really good defense in our postseason run and throughout the season, but she's one of the main reasons that we're at where we're at right now.
For all three of you, just now that you're finally here, I guess, just what would it mean to bring home a state championship to South Knox? Ella, we'll start with you and just work our way left to right.
I think it would mean everything to us, seeing the amount of support that we've got from the community and just knowing that, we're playing for something bigger than ourselves. And so it would just be truly so special, especially with this group. We've worked so hard, and I think we all just want it so much. So.
Yeah, and it's not just for ourselves. Our whole community, like Ella said, is right behind us, and we want to win it for them too, and for our whole school. We've never done anything like this before, so it's not just for us; it's for everybody, really.
I agree with that. All these little kids come to our games, and it's just really special to see them look up to us and want to be where we are.
Real quickly, just on that, like, has this support always been there for the girls' basketball program, or have you kind of noticed an uptick over the past couple of years?
I think there's definitely been some more support over the last few years. I remember our sophomore year, like we finally got our top set of bleachers open for our games. And that was a huge deal for us because we just never had that many people want to come out. And so seeing the support, it just kind of hypes us up and lets us know that, they're always going to have our back no matter what.
Awesome. Is North Knox included in you guys know this because I've said it on in this show tons of times. Like the rivalry I'm obsessed with. Okay, do they root for you or do they root against you in this game? Do you know?
We've had some North Knox people and other schools. I've had some other schools text me and like, good luck. I'm praying for you guys and like hope you make a postseason run. But North Knox people have been coming up and congratulating us and saying we wish you the best luck.
I was just wondering how deep the rivalry runs down there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck on Saturday. Looking forward to seeing you guys play again.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Hey, girls.
Bren Hill, Kendal Hill, Ella Bobe with us. Danny, bring us home.
They seemed loose. didn't they, Hank?
Yeah,
Like the girls
extremely.
seemed loose. That doesn't seem like a basketball team that is shouldering a level of expectation of like, we better win state. Those kids are just having the time of their lives, man. We sold our section out in 20 minutes. We're talking to North Knox people. You know, Ella's over at the house, so I guess she's my best friend too. Like they just seemed loose. They're smiling when we had them on beforehand. I think that's a very likable and charming quality about that basketball team. But they're killers when they get on the court, man.
Man,
Holly's
oh, yeah.
intense. What was it? Soak said that when his interview said that Holly was trying to wake him up at the half, and she couldn't tell him what they said, right? But did you get the same read that they're just loose and
even just today, like I was behind them in the lunch line. Like I talked to Holly and one of their assistant coaches for a little bit, just as we were waiting to get food and stuff, and just again super loose, just having a good time. Not just happy to be there, but happy to be there and just kind of soaked in the moment was the sense that I got. And that's cool to see. Obviously it's Tuesday and the game's not until Saturday. So that probably helps a little bit. And you've got so much stuff going on. But yeah, extremely loose. And that's a good sign, you know, because this is a very interesting matchup, as we've discussed. Just the Rensselaer, specifically with that length, they seem to check a lot of the boxes. And we asked people, how do you beat South Knox? And I have a video clip from last week's shows that I wanted to run a little bit later here. But Rensselaer seems to check a lot of those boxes. They can shoot the ball reasonably well. They rebound well. They're big. They're physical. And I think that South Knox is well aware of that. And this might be one of their biggest challenges they've encountered in terms of two-way competition this year.
Yeah, that's a good call. So I have three things written down as the what to watch is. I'll breeze through them here real quick. But first is the size of Rensselaer Central. But I have a second note there. Like, a lot has been made of the size of Rensselaer Central, but let's not forget that the OG team that we were talking about with size is South Knox. Like, Madison Parish is tall. Like, Brent Hill is tall. These kids are long. They are also too athletic. And sometimes you look at it and you're like, that looks like a 2A team. That looks like a Class A team. I think you even said it in one of the past episodes. You were like, they don't look like a 2A basketball team. They don't. So you're going to watch that Rensselaer Central South Knox game and be like, wow, the athleticism and the height and the size is really out there. Two of those kids, or one of those kids really is Courtney Matthew. I think Courtney Matthew measures at 5'10". I'm upset. This is my favorite what to watch here. Kendal Hill versus Courtney Matthew at the point guard position between South Knox's starting point guard and Rensselaer Central starting point guard. I'm obsessed with how they're going to match up. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the 2027 class at some of the top players within the state, it's kids like Lily Graves, it's kids like Hannah Menser. You have the three post players and Hupper, Page, and DeVault, and you throw Larison in there, Riley Kanan in there. But at the guard position, Courtney Matthew and Kendal Hill are two of the top 5 point guards in that class, and they're in kind of the same grouping as like a Kenzie Cook. These kids are really, really top players within their class at their position, and the pace that South Knox is going to have to play with against that 1-2-2. I think Ella had mentioned about how Kendal is one of the top assists statistically in assists in the state. She does deal them out, but not only does Courtney Matthew and Kendal Hill have to make plays for themselves, but they've got to make plays for their teammates. And I think that sets up really good theater. I think my last what to watch here, and I'll be careful with this one because it's more scout specific, but I think the understanding of personnel with South Knox is going to be important. There's a lot of really good pieces at Rensselaer Central, but they're very different. Taylor Von Meter and Courtney Matthew do tons of things very, very well, but they are downhill attackers. Those two kids combined shot 19% from three. It's not what they do best. It's not in their game. Although Van Meter did hit, I think, 3 big threes throughout the semi-state run, it's not what they prefer to do. They prefer to get downhill and attack the basket. Conversely, Drone, Roland, and Radtke, those 3 players combined throughout the season are shooting 36%. So I'm sure Holly and any coach would talk about the player tendencies of individual kids. And so their recognition of scouts and who they're guarding and where they are in situations on the floor, I think is going to be critical, because if you close out short on Drone, for example, or Roland, who those kids have absolute clips, because you were used to closing out short on Van Meter, it's going to cost you 3 points. So I think it's one of those interesting things that Rensselaer Central presents problems for, because they have so many kids that do different things.
We have clips here, Danny, from last week talking about South Knox, and we asked a couple coaches who have encountered South Knox, Lanesville, who lost to them in the regional, and Northeast Du Bois, who lost to them early in the year, just how they would go about trying to beat South Knox. And the answers were both insightful and entertaining.
Start by praying really hard. They are a real good team. I've scouted them a few times before we played them, and they got all the parts and pieces to an outstanding team. And if somebody beats them, I'll be very surprised, because Holly does an outstanding job with them, for one thing. And then they have the Bobe girl that goes along, and I mean, just a tremendous team. I just can't say enough good about them as a team. Maybe Emerson has other thoughts about it. I don't know, but
no, I totally agree. I mean, that's one hard team to beat, and I mean, gosh, yeah, you just got to pray for that team. And
we played them earlier in the year. That was our third game of the year, so that was a little bit tough for us. We had still getting going, but still, there was no excuse for the way we played. But South Knox, they're the real deal.
I turned around a couple times during that game, and I was like, how do you stop that? I mean, they're pulling up, they're shooting Caitlin Clark threes out there.
Yeah.
They're just so comfortable doing it, and they're just very talented at shooting the basketball, but they can also knife to the basket. If I think it's going to take a team with a real strong post presence that can really get inside, but also you're going to have to be a good shooting team as well. Their length is deceiving. I mean, I love it because I think about the defense we play, and I'm thinking, man, those kids would be so good at what we do. I'm like, dang, they're doing to us. They're getting tips on balls, and they're covering area. And you admire that as a coach. You hate it because you can't beat it, but you're going to have somebody that's got good ball handlers. If we'd have been able to make some more outside shots, that would have helped us a little bit. So you're going to have to be a good shooting team. When we did get it inside, I thought we were pretty successful. We just didn't always make our baskets, but we did get it in there. So you're going to have to be a very, very balanced team, and you're going to have to outscore them. It's just going to take a really, really good, solid team that has a lot of weapons. You have to be able to match them 5 for 5 out there on the floor, and then they're going to bring kids off the bench, but they can only play 5. Our problem was we were covering 2 or 3, but we couldn't cover all 5. So you're going to have 5 really solid kids out there that can play, and then also be good offensive players. But they're going to be tough.
Clips from last week's show. I mean, Angie Hinton hits on a lot of the things that we just talked about, Danny. You got to be – they're deceptively long, South Knox, that is. You got to hit some outside shots, which, Rensselaer has – the overall percentage isn't there, but as you pointed out, you drill in a little bit deeper, and they have some kids who are capable of knocking down those outside shots. It's loosen up the defense, and when you get those opportunities inside, you have to capitalize. That was a struggle for them in the game that I saw against Sheridan, but they were able to get inside, and it's just that physicality as a way of just wearing down teams on Rensselaer's side. But I mean, the thing that I think that on paper it's an interesting matchup, but the thing I keep going back to is that none of this is new for South Knox with the schedule that they played. They played Washington twice. They played Borden Central. They played, obviously, Hamilton Southeastern and Homestead at the Hall of Fame Classic. They played Evansville Central. So they've seen Holly Eves has constructed a schedule in such a way that her team's seen all this stuff. None of it's new. And for a team that dominant as well, they've played some close games. We talked before coming into the tournament, when's that one big scare going to come and how will they respond? It came in the sectional championship game against rival North Knox, and they responded with pulling out a 58-52 win. So they've been in close game situations recently too. It's just they check every single box, and it's really difficult to pick out weaknesses. It's just you have to find a way to beat them at their best at this point.
Yeah. So Rensselaer Central got here too through Alexandria and through Sheridan, which had great individual players in Jacqueline Hosier and Kenzie Garner. All due respect to the rest of the rosters, you don't win sectionals unless you have depth and quality across the board. But those two kids are extraordinary, right? Well, I think that's an interesting thing to talk about because the balance of South Knox does kind of change that 1-2-2. Now you're more concept based instead of personnel based. And so, as you prepare, I think they just have to be the best version of themselves. When we talked to Carly Rowland and Taylor Van Meter in the interview 2 episodes ago, when we were previewing the semi-state, they were talking about how they brought freshmen in to simulate what Sheridan and Alexandria would do. And by the way, that's a really fun thing for that freshman that gets to play Hosier and play Garner in those scouts. But what freshman team is able to replicate 5 really good players with 3 really good players coming off the bench? Like, okay, I'll be Kendal Hill today. Well, Kendal Hill might not be the focus of the team that day at South Knox. It's such an interesting scout for Rensselaer Central this year that adds a level of uniqueness, I think, to this preparation.
I'll start landing the plane with this. I'm just really excited for that game. Like, I'm excited for all of them, but that game specifically, just because the matchup is so fascinating. Like, my head tells me that South Knox is the runaway favorite, but what I saw Saturday gives me second thoughts, and maybe just part of me wants to believe that we're in for a really tight finish there. But either way, it's interesting. Like, even if South Knox manages to take control and pull away, it's still going to be fascinating. 2 battle-tested teams. It's going to be really fun. And it says nothing, too. I mean, the Class A game to set it up, I mean, that's going to be phenomenal as well, too. Borden looking to get to where Lafayette Central Catholic has been so many times before, and LCC looking to defend the throne is going to be exceptional.
And they're county schools. They're not private schools. So the draw is from an entire county from an audience perspective. I mean, you heard Kendal Hill talk about how they sold it out. The environment is going to be great. I would also suspect that some of the Class A people, look, they woke up early. They were in the state championship, definitely the winning team. But I also think the losing team will kind of stick around and kind of see. I think that place is going to be electric for that 2-way game. That's going to be a very fun environment. I'm so happy for those girls that they get to do it. And the biggest winner of everything is the IHSAA. Not just for ticket sales, but they're going to look up and be like, this is a 2-way game. We still have 2 more. And wait till Warsaw brings, I said that South Knox was going to bring 3,000. Don't be surprised if Warsaw brings 5,000 people to that.
Greensburg might bring 10.
That's right. Greensburg in the 3A. Oh my God. Huge markets. This is great. This is great.
Oh, this is going to be phenomenal. And 2, we should mention the IHSAA has tons of stuff planned with it being the 50th anniversary. Our co-host Courtney Delks, who couldn't be with us today, is going to be part of the festivities that they bring back former old past Miss basketball winners. Not old, sorry, Court. Past Miss basketball winners. They have activities planned out in the concourse. If the weather's nice, they're going to be out in the plaza. I mean, the IHSAA, to their credit, is doing this thing up right. Jane Schott and her podcast has been phenomenal. I listened to a couple of those. They've been awesome. Just such a cool thing. And it's really neat to see how far it's come for girls basketball. And this is just such a perfect way to celebrate the 50th anniversary or the 50th tournament of the state finals, 50th installment of the state tournament. Whatever, you know what I'm saying.
No, you nailed it. You nailed it.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Any closing thoughts for you before we hit the trails and let folks get on with their days?
No, get them out of here. See you Saturday, everybody.
Good stuff. Thanks, everybody, for watching. In case this is the last show you watch, thank you so much for watching us and the support throughout the season. It's greatly appreciated and does not go unnoticed. For Danny Riego, Courtney Delks, my name is Brian Haenchen. This has been the Scorers Table.